This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Fugitive Waspinator. Or if you watch the original animated series, this version was just called Wasp. And he was part of the same training group as Bumblebee to become part of the Elite Guard. And as you may have noted here, he also uses the same body as the animated Bumblebee. Now, as I recall, we were supposed to actually get this version of Wasp in the toy line originally for animated, but it was canceled before that wave came out. Which, of course, that wave also included the Optimus Prime with the extra gear to give him the flight mode in robot mode, which I think was supposed to turn into a trailer in vehicle mode. On the side here, we see another image of Wasp, which is kind of a nice and refreshing considering that the last few reviews that I've done with the Transformers have been combiners and had the combiner mode. And on the other side, we get more of the 13 Primes, which I'm not really a big fan of that story arc, as I've mentioned before. And on the back of the box, we see product shots in both robot and vehicle mode. And looking at this, it kind of looks like the weapons on him are slightly different than the ones that came with Bumblebee. Because looking at him on the back here, it does not look like they hooked to his hands to combine together like Bumblebee's did. But I guess we'll find out when we get around to opening him up and transforming him, which we will open him up right now. Okay, he does come with the same gear that Bumblebee did. The weapons are not all new, like I was kind of thinking. In fact, I probably should have remembered the way these were, but I did not. So that's my bad. I'm an idiot. But I think y'all know that already, so. But we do have his boosters and we do have his stingers. And here we have his robot mode. Of course, he does come with a unique head sculpt to look kind of like a Waspinator head. It really is a shame that this figure did not come out in the original line. Once again, though, we are using transparent plastic, which, again, I wish they would just forget about that and just do paint deco on this stuff. But I guess they wanted all this to match. So let's take a look at his body. He does, of course, have a little bit of a backpack, not much of one, so there's actually pretty lacking of kibble, really, on the back. There are surprisingly few hollow spots in this robot mode, too. I can't help but think that that's purely by accident, because I have no faith in Hasbro anymore. We can, of course, attach his boosters to his back here on the spoiler. So he can use that to fly, presumably. And we can still attach the stingers to that as well, which gives us both the gun mode for his boosters and stingers, as well as making a kind of ridiculous looking drill. Articulation wise, there is a hinge here at the neck that goes up and down. That, of course, is probably for transformation purposes and not for articulation. His head does appear to be on a ball joint, so if you can get your fingers in there, you can spin it around. And he's definitely got a nice look up going on there. And he can look down a little bit. And we can do some side-to-side action. And, you know, obviously we can move his head up towards the side. Because when you look at the back of his neck, there is a big, whoops. When you look at the back of his neck there, you can see the big opening there for the ball joint, or the neck joint, ball, whatever you want to call it. Articulation-wise, well, we were already doing articulation, weren't we? Okay, so we do have not much of a spin, actually, here. So his arm can move about that far forward and that far back. So we do not get the 360 that we usually get with almost every Transformer. He can hinge out only about that far. We're not going to get straight because of the backpack. There is a hinge at the shoulder And another hinge at the elbow, giving us kind of an interesting ability to move his arm around. The elbow also has a spin, so that gives us more of a low bicep cut. The hand does in fact spin, but it's really hard to move, at least on this figure. And then, of course, we pull the door down, spin the arm out, close that, and we leave that little hole there where we can attach the stinger. Which now I'm not. Now I'm trying to remember how. Yeah, there we go. The stinger goes on there like that. Oh. We do have a waist swivel, surprisingly. I'm going to bet that'll have something to do with transformation. And you know, I'm saying all this stuff. I've done this before because I did the review for Bumblebee, but I don't remember half the crap I did. So we do have a thigh cut. We can hinge up on the legs to do the splits. We can go forward and back to do even more splits. Meaning this dude's got a nice high kick going on there. We do have a single joint at the knee, which does a way better than 90. We can actually get that to bend about that far. And it seems that we have a very tiny ankle rocker. And a bit of a hinge. Yeah, to be perfectly honest, that ankle rocker might as well be almost non-existent. So if you have his legs spread out, say about this far for a nice sturdy pose, his feet are not flat on the ground. You can get about that far with them flat. All right, everybody, let's see how much I remember of transformation. You know, I do remember there being some weird little trick you had to do on the arms in order to position this properly, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it is offhand right now. Oh, there we go. I knew something had to move there, but... I swear to God, I think this is where I got stumped with the Bumblebee. Because obviously the arm goes in here somehow. But I don't remember how you twist this up into position. I swear, I remember there was some trick to this. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, so that's how the arms go. But the problem still remains is I can't remember how to get... I can't remember how to get it up into position there, though. If I was live streaming this right now, I'd be like, chat, do you have any suggestions? Okay, right now from this point of view... Let's go back over here. Wait, are his fists supposed to still be out? Is that the problem I'm having? No, that shouldn't really be affecting what I'm doing, though. But it does look like his fists are actually out. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, wait a minute. Because here we have that open. Okay. Oh, see now we're showing the fists going in here. But then it just folds it up. What the hell? Okay, so apparently the trick here is to literally brute force the transformation. You have to be careful because this does not want to move into position. That was what the trick was. And then you just force it in there. Drop down the back and find the pegs and peg it into place. So just take another look at this. It is literally, you have to force this to go further than what it feels like it should when you turn this part. And then you just kind of have to force everything back together there. Close that, and boom. And yes, you are going to feel like you're going to break it, and you might if you do it too hard. And now I can't get these things into place. There we go. So then you can go ahead and attach his boosters to the side. Yeah, that's the problem, is you get too concerned about trying to push that into place. You don't want to break it, but you basically aren't left with any other options but almost to break it. But that is our transformation of Waspinator. I mean, I do like the character design. It is just the Bumblebee, you know, in a different color with a new head. But still, I do like it. I just wish they had done a better job with that transformation at the arms so that it was a little more intuitive and didn't feel like you were going to break it every time you tried to do it. His back wheels are pegged in, and his front wheels are mushroom pegs, which is giving us an okay roll still. The one problem with, you know, the stingers here being on the back like that is that they look kind of weird, and, you know, since they are the same color as everything else, it doesn't really look like a rocket boost, right? Unfortunately, this peg hole here is very loose on this copy. So while they will stay in, they will move around a bit. But I think that'll do it for our look at Waspinator here. God, that was annoying as heck. But let me know what you think in the comments below about this figure, or how badly I did trying to transform him again. You know, and I do remember having the same kind of issue with Bumblebee. And I'll link that video in the at the end. But if you enjoyed this crap show, please feel free to leave a like. And if you want to watch more of my nonsense, you can subscribe. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.